We're going to be going over how you can add real-time functionality to your API using GraphQL subscriptions. Now these already come bundled, at least with the packages that you need with Apollo server, so we don't actually need to install anything else than what we already have. The first step to adding this is to creating a new type here in our type definitions. We're going to call it subscription. And inside of this, we need to define all the different subscriptions that we want, or all our real-time events. So for example, here, I'm going to create an event that I want to trigger whenever we create a new user. So I'm going to call it new user, and it's going to return a user. So I want this to trigger every time a user is created. So whenever we call this register resolver, it's kind of when I want it to be added. So after we add the type definition for it here, we need to add the resolver. And the resolver looks like this. We call subscription. And inside of here, we're going to say new user. So again, it matches the shape of this, but it's slightly different than a query or mutation resolver or a field resolver like this, whereas you just pass a function in. And this, there's a special field that we actually pass an object in, and we pass in a special field called subscribe. And subscribe is now going to be kind of our function here. And what we do is the first parameter, again, is going to be same as our function over here or over here. It's going to be the parent, which we don't care about. Then there's going to be any arguments. So again, we can pass any arguments that we want to our subscription. In this case, we don't have any that we want. And then lastly is the context, which we're actually going to need. We're going to get something called pub/sub from it. And then here I'm just going to return 5, but we're going to replace this from what we need. So there's this thing called pub/sub, which we can get from the Apollo server. So I'm going to go ahead and import it from up here. And it's going to be uppercase. So this is where we can actually create an instance of it. And so here we're going to say const pub/sub is equal to new pub/sub. And this is an instance where it could be something that I pass in through my context. So we're going to do that. So I'm creating an instance of pub/sub, and I'm passing it in here. And pub/sub is what we use to actually trigger events and publish events. So here we're going to pass it into our context, and then we can access it through the third parameter up here. And then what we do is we say pub/sub.async iterator, and not iterator. And then here we pass in a string, and this string is going to act as kind of like a key. So I'm going to say const new user, and this is going to be just constant, and I'll pass that in there. So now what we can do is whenever we want this event to be triggered, we can call pub/sub.publish. So I told you that I wanted this to happen in the register resolver over here. So now I'm just going to break this into a function with curly braces. And then again, I don't care about the first two arguments right now. And I'm going to get pub/sub from that. And we don't really have to say const here. We're going to say pub/sub.publish. So now when I say publish here, there's going to be two parameters that we pass in, the trigger name and the payload. And we can see that we get some auto completion here. So the trigger name is which subscription we want to trigger. In this case, we want to trigger the new user one, and we called it new user. We use this key, so we're going to use that here as well. And then we pass in the payload. So the payload is going to be an object, and the name here is going to be new user, because we call it new user here. And the type of it is going to be a user. So in this case, we're passing in a user right there. So if we want to, we can say const user ID1, and we can pass that in here. And we can pass that in here. And we're actually taking the username as an argument, so let's also just pass that into our user right here as well. So now what's going to happen is when our register mutation is called, we're going to say pub/sub.publish, and it's now going to trigger the event. And so anyone who is subscribed to this is going to get an alert. So let's take a look at that, and we can actually do this in our playground over here. So I can hit the plus, and I can say subscription, and here I'm going to say, and I'm just going to refresh so we get the data for it, new user, ID, username, first letter of the username. So we're going to hit play, and you'll notice we didn't get anything back yet. All we did when we call this is we said, hey, whenever a new user event is triggered, give us the data for it. So now we need to call register to actually trigger it. Can come over here, and I already have a register that I had ran before. We can use this, for example. We'll run that. Here's the data we get over here. We get null back, and we get this. Now, something that I noticed is I think we should get a username back from this, because we specified a username in the arguments, I believe. And the only thing is I called it user info, so that was just a mistypo from me. So this should be user info, and then inside of that there's a username. All right, cool. So now we can call this again, and I restarted the server, so it looks like it disconnected. This uses WebSockets underneath the hood, if you're wondering. So we can run this. We can click it a couple times if we want to. I triggered it a couple times, so you can see a couple of them are created. And you'll also notice here that the first letter of the username was still called. So it actually still calls the other resolvers, right? Because we're returning a user. So whenever a user is returned, it's going to call this user resolver, which is pretty cool for this field. So that is how subscriptions work. And again, we can add more fields if we want to add more events to have users listen to it. But that is the gist of how subscriptions work. And this is the end of this short beginner series on GraphQL. I hope you got a small taste of what GraphQL is and kind of some of the capabilities of it and kind of a little bit how it works. And I was hoping for this to be kind of lay the groundwork a little bit, kind of give you some background knowledge for future series, and also series that I've done in the past with GraphQL. You kind of get a little bit more context if you want to go through those, or really any GraphQL series you want to go through in general. Hopefully this will give you some idea of what's kind of going on in there. Anyway, guys, I have more GraphQL stuff that's going to be happening in the future, so stay tuned.